unfortunately last There we go. That's what we've been looking for a little bit. Come here. Didn't want to really grab you like that, but there we go. Spit my bait. There's another one with it. Love making a lot of noise. Love making noise. Okay, just to recap some things that was going on in that video. It was a north wind that day. Everything had changed from the 2 days prior. I had been catching about 8 fish a day. That day I caught 2 on video, 1 off video. 1 off video was about 8 inches long. The bite was pretty finicky that day, and if you wasn't paying attention, then you were not going to get that fish in the boat unless it swallowed it like the one fish did in the beginning of the video. So I fished main lake points, some humps out in the lake, a couple different ledges in deeper water, about 15 to 20 feet of water. But what they ended up keying in on, or I did, was water about 8 to 10 foot deep with sporadic trees off of a rock ledge. That seemed to be the key. That's where I caught all 3 fish on different portions of the lake. So I was able to get it done on one part of the lake, and then I went to something very similar on the other portion of the lake and caught them there as well. So I was using a TCR rig. I'm not 100% sure what that stands for. I heard it was called a tiny child rig, but that doesn't sound right either way. But essentially what it is I used about 1.5 foot fluorocarbon leader with a swivel on one end here, and then this is a 2/0 Eagle Claw wide gap hook, and then I used a Gary Yamamoto green pumpkin and watermelon 5-inch Senko, but what I did was I cut them down to about 4 to 3 inches, and then you rig it just like you would any other Senko from the head to about midway, running the hook back through it, and then I would use these sheet metal screws here. They are 6 by 3/8, and that was enough weight to get the fish to actually bite on the rate of fall of that bait. And essentially what was going on was I'd take the screw here, and I would take the end of the bait and I would stick it. This bait's pretty messed up here, so I'm just going to stick it in here, but you pretty much put it in the bait to where it's seated in there just like that, and then the bait would sit on the bottom, and when you pop it up it'll float back, and every time you hit it, it keeps floating back, and that is what was triggering those fish that day to actually bite. And if you noticed in that first video, or in the first fish, they were hitting the bait on the fall, and then when I picked up, if you wasn't paying attention, you wasn't getting the bite, you wasn't catching the fish. So when I picked up, he had already swallowed the hook. I set it and I brought him in the boat. Now I had to go in through the gills to get that hook out, save the fish. He swam off just perfectly. That water is super clear. I saw him swim from, surface down to like 6 foot of water into the grass, and never saw him again. So I believe that he lived. He was bleeding as soon as I pulled him out of the water. The good thing about it is, guys, if you can get that hook out of them without hurting their gills the way I was doing it, you have to be very careful. And then once you get them back in that water, the water acts as a coagulant, like it stops it. It's pretty much like putting a quick clot on a fish's wound. It stops that the blood from flowing and helps him heal up. So guys, I hope you had a good time watching the video. I know I had a good time making the video, and always remember to get outdoors, guys.